Hello. Welcome to Sunday D&D. We are back. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, as you'll see, I'm running green screen again, just because it's fun. I've got my little dungeon scene set up behind me, which is kind of cool. And I don't think we have any announcements. Oh, yes we do. Tuesday nights, be one gaming stream, or one games night back up on the schedule, regular schedule every Tuesday night. Most likely be playing Warcraft, because that's pretty much what I'm into right now. Be occasional Call of Duty, potentially, just whatever I feel like on the night. And Yanti dropping a tier 1 resub, 8 months. Thank you very much, appreciate that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for, and Orbasm dropping a 4-month resub, Drax dropping an 18-month resub. Holy crap, guys, appreciate very much, loving the support. Oh, I haven't turned the bot on, my bad. Professional streamer forgets to turn the bot on. My bad. I knew there was something I forgot. I think I did everything else though.
Now and not later.
There we go. So we have the bot working, so you can do the thing and the stuff. But thank you very much for the resubs, guys. Appreciate it. So unless anyone else has anything to say, I think we'll get just right into it. No, nobody? Geez, you guys are all fucking talkative tonight, aren't you?
You're talking to us or them?
You.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, look, there's a Hett.
Hello, stop.
Yes, that'll be interesting to see how that goes. Oh, we've got a hype train running. Look at that. 94%. We've got 3.5 minutes to get another sub, some a gifted sub or bits to keep the hype train going. I don't know what it does, but the new thing on Twitch. But anywho, I don't think we've got any more announcements or anything like that. Don't forget Curse of Strahd campaign every Thursday morning, 11 AM at New Zealand Standard Time. Next session will be session 4, which will be really freaking cool. It's going very well. You are breaking up something shocking, Pekka. Pekka's having some technological difficulties.
On there.
But we'll have to see when we get into the RP stuff.
I'm glad it's not me again.
No, it's not you tonight. So
Or me.
Or Nutty. We've finally fixed it. As you can hear, look, chat, you can hear Nutty. Finally.
Yeah.
Hang on, wait till she uses her
At
accent.
long last, you can find me. Well, you can hear me. You might not be able to find me, but you can hear me.
She still doesn't know how to release the button after she finishes talking, but baby steps. We'll get there. One step at a time. But Pekka, you're awfully quiet and you were breaking up, dude. So I'm not sure what's happening there, my friend. So hopefully...
He hasn't got enough power, Captain.
Right.
How's that?
Well, that's a bit better. Still quiet, but you're not breaking up anymore. I mean, I've got you maxed out at 200%. So, but we will start nonetheless. Hopefully we can deal with these issues along the way. So, without further ado, we will do the recap from last week's show. So, upon returning to Holland, you're all in need of rest after your battle with a Dark Paladin and a Undead Drake. You then rescuing Namaris, potentially. You're not 100% sure exactly what's going on, but you return to Holland. It was decided to ask the townspeople if they would put you up for a day or two while you rested, while you decided what you were going to do with Neymaris. Neymaris, once returning to the city square, requested a hand and to remove her armor, which she revealed to be cursed, and she was unable to remove it herself. Hett finds that he's not able to assist, but Frodon, overhearing what was going on, lends a hand with a remove cursed spell. After performing the incantations, the armor cracks, bends, creaks and twists, and then disintegrates before your very eyes. You then ask for, you had manacles supplied to you by Frodon. You then shackled Neymaris in case she tried to escape or tried to harm anyone. You're still at this point not sure what's going on. Asking Frodon for a place to stay, he offers the hero and Chalice the local inn, and after speaking with Thrimmon, the owner, it was agreed that you were able to stay there. Thrimmon, not too thrilled about having Neymaris the Bloody staying at his inn, after the fact that she pretty much led the attacks on this town. She was then taken to the basement and chained to the wall, where there was a bed and everything set up for her so she could sleep comfortably but secure. During the evening, you decided to set up a rotation of watches, Inari taking first watch. During the night, the rotation went through. Nothing much really happened. There was some discussion back and forwards between Neymaris and everything else. During this time, Inari did send a message to the Emerald Enclave, and it was revealed that they would prefer that she was returned, or Neymaris was returned to the city of Vallond to be checked out by mages, clerics, whatever they were going to do, and potentially stand trial if it was found that she was at fault of anything or was generally not under any kind of magical spells or controls. The next morning, you all decided it was time to ask her a few questions. You grilled Neymaris about what she knows about Cass, his keep, and discovered she had first-hand knowledge of where he keeps his treasure vault and potentially the items that you are looking to recover. Also revealing that her own items will also be kept in this particular part of Cass's keep/castle. You also found out that Cass has been scrying on you from time to time to try and learn whatever he can about you, your whereabouts, all that sort of thing, and you've made discussions about potentially protecting yourselves against that. With more discussions, you also find out that potential allies, the Goliath clan that has been said to be roaming the northern reaches of Gridmarch, had also been destroyed, along with the remaining orcs from the clan of Beepole Island. This information has some of it good, some of it bad, but information nonetheless. After some time, you decided that you needed to find some more equipment, and Thrimmon was able to offer you some healing potions. Inari bought some arrows from the blacksmith, and Frodon was able to identify some objects for you, and you now are in possession of a series of earrings enabling you guys to message each other. There is a limit to those earrings, a range. The sending spell doesn't really have a range. The earrings, however, do. It's a 250-mile range. Just be aware of that. You won't be able to do it, and you cannot do it across different planes. You have to be on the same plane of existence. So these were handed out to specific people, and some discussions were made. Hett making some valid points about the way he sends his messages in the meantime. And this is where we rejoin the lines as you wait in Vallond for the envoy from Vallond to arrive, and episode 38. So team, you at this point, you're still at the inn. I think it was sort of mid-morning at this point. You had just done your made your discussions and discoveries about these earrings, and Hett had just gone through giving Alessandros a slight migraine, proving his point about the way he sends his messages. And Neymaris is still in the basement. you are pretty much resupplied now. You know you've got at least a day, either sometime this evening, late this afternoon or this evening, or early tomorrow morning, the envoy from Valon should arrive. So you basically have a day in which to do whatever you want to do, pretty much.
So, what is it we want to do, guys?
I'm still suspicious about this envoy.
Rock, paper, scissors it.
I'd like to take a watch with Sadiq, if I could, on Amaris.
You could, if what Sadiq wants to do.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
So Anari's down there at the moment. So you guys both proceed down to relieve Anari. And yep. Anari, you
have some breakfast.
Can come up for some breakfast.
Breakfast? Are we breakfast? No, we're dinner, aren't we?
No, it's mid-morning.
Okay, lunch, brunch. Food.
Hett will join Anari for some food.
Yeah, I think Bash is getting pretty hungry. He didn't really have breakfast, so I think he's going to join you guys in some food too. Freeman, what meats you got on the menus there? For the, I mean, you got any venison or something? I've been hankering some venison for quite a while. And sort of Freeman he's milling around the place. Sort of steps up and goes, "Hey, we got some venison, and we got pork, a little bit of bear meat as well, but we can scare something up for you." And he sort of potters off, and it takes him 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes. He comes back and with scrambled eggs and coffee and some cooked meats. No raw meats yet. He doesn't know about Dragonborn by the looks.
Well, Hett will tell him. Hett will say, "Hey, anything raw, buddy, that would be really good. I don't want it destroyed like this burn stuff here."
All right. Sure. Which would you prefer? I mean, we've got a range of meats. Would you like a selection or one particular type of meat?
I'll take a range of raw. That would be lovely.
All right, just to give me a couple of moments, and he buggers off, comes back with a platter of different types of raw meats. So, sort of sniffing at it, you'd probably be able to tell bear meat. You've had that before. Deer meat you've definitely had. There's a couple other meats you're not 100% sure, but there's definitely pork in there. But there's a couple other meats you're not 100% sure of, but it all smells pretty good.
Excellent. Hett is happy.
So as you guys are sitting there sort of having a meal, Bash turns to you, Hett, and says, Mr. Hett, just to give you a bit of suppose insight into this tomb. I mean, I know you guys have probably not heard much about it, but I did a little bit of reading before we went there the first time, and it's rumored to be like the lair of a lich, like they call him a demi-lich. Look, he's not as powerful as the big scary lich, but they're pretty powerful nonetheless. So we never found anything like that when we were there. The first time we were there, we got fucking lost, and like, that's how I got these scars. Traps everywhere, so be very careful where you step and what you do. Make sure you have a good look around before you do anything. But it's just really confusing. You get turned around and stuff. Just keep your wits about you, right? I mean,
I know you can't get turned around with a compass though. If you have a compass, turning around, you just turn back to N, which is north.
Well, that's true. Except I think that place is like magical because compasses don't work in there, mate. It's they'll just spin around like a spinning top, and like I said, it's a weird place.
Hey, I'll make a note. I need to make my compass magically imbued so it isn't susceptible to magic. And Hett gets out his notepad. Hett gets out his notepad that Fiayla gave him, and he starts writing down that he wants to make his compass magic.
And Bash, as you pull your notebook out, Bash actually sort of he goes, "Oh, that's a nice notebook and a pretty pen too. What's that made out of? The bindings. It's like that sort of pearly white stuff. What is that?"
It's a beautiful gift given to me by someone special. I believe it's orc skin.
Good one, Mr. Hett. Yeah, I'm not that stupid. It looks like dragon scale to me. Never seen dragon scales quite that colour though, but that's pretty cool.
It is indeed pretty cool. Is Alessandros and Inari sitting nearby?
I believe Inari is. I don't know what Alessandros was doing, whether she was going to sit with you guys or what.
With
You sitting with him? There you go.
Hett turns to both Ali and Inari and he says, I have no... Well, I don't think I do. I've never heard of a lich. Do you have any idea what a lich is?
I might know. I would. Would I need
Jack?
to roll?
Inari, you will need to roll a intelligence check with advantage. Alessandros, if you want to see if you know anything about it, roll an intelligence check, just a straight roll.
18.
18.
I got no fucking clue what a witch is.
What did you get?
7.
No, you got no idea. So yeah, you've heard of a lich, but you've got no idea what they are. You've heard the name. You've heard people speak about it. But Inari, you basically know of what a lich is. You've never really heard of a demi-lich. You know it's obviously very similar, but you've also heard, now that you've heard Bash talk about the tomb a little bit, you sort of recall that with the lich and everything else, you've heard the name Asarak, which is fabled to be, or the legend of Asarak is a demi-lich that supposedly has a lair somewhere that's never really been found, or no one sort of knows exactly where it is. And with hearing what Bash has just said, you sort of put two and two together and you think, holy shit, Tomb of Horrors, maybe this is the lair of Asarak. And you tell them the story of Asarak was he created a labyrinth filled with terrible traps and some monsters, not many, but the ones that are there are very foreboding. It's filled with treasures, precious and magical. But he grew mad with power. He was trying to basically become immortal while he was still alive, and in doing so, basically he became immortal, all right, but he's now twisted and insane and basically undead. He was turned into this demi-lich. So all accounts of everyone that's gone to the tomb or found Asarak's lair, most have never returned. Those that have returned have come back horribly disfigured and scarred and or mentally insane. Pretty much that's most of the story you've gotten.
Is Bash with us?
Bash is sitting right there with you. And as you sort of recount this, Bash is sort of nodding and pointing to his face.
I turn to look at Bash and I'm like, so what can you tell us about the Tomb of Horror?
Well, I was saying to Mr. Hett, it's a terrible place. We got horribly lost. We found certain amount of, like, there was pit traps and spike trap. There's all sorts of all manner of traps, and they seemed to move and not be the same place twice, kind of thing. It was horrible. I'm not sure how far we got into the place, but I said we found a few shinies here and there, but I as you can see with this the scarring and stuff, I fell into a spike trap. I'm usually pretty good at spotting these things, but I fell in and I took some pretty serious damage, and it took us a couple of weeks to find our way out again. One of our companions disappeared completely, never saw him again. That was before I met Mr. Aslan, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, this lich, demi-lich, is meant to be in this place, and his name is Asarak. And is there also this beholder beast you talk of in the same place?
But behold, ooh. No, I mean, I've heard of beholders, never actually seen one. Scary beasties they are, though. I don't. Well, we never found one. I mean, the folks around here had talked about rumours that there might be one in the tomb. I'm not sure, but if there is, it's probably been bound there to protect the valuable shinies. I'm assuming that's normally what they do. But if you're saying that there's a beholder in there, then, well, Tempest help you all. I mean, it's not going to be easy. That's
Well,
even if you can.
that's
if you can find the place. I mean, getting to the treasure room is going to be a mission.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we just have to wait out this envoy and see what happens, eh?
Yeah, definitely. So, with that, we'll switch to Fiayla and Sadiq, who are now in the basement with Namaris. Namaris, you're awake. You're still exhausted. You're still lying down, but you're awake. Sort of just lying there, going over things in your head, visions of the people that have fallen under your sword flash in your memory from time to time. The screams of children, women, elderly. Just there was literally no remorse from Ashana while she was in control. And while you were there, it was like you were trapped inside your own mind, and you couldn't do anything. As much as you tried, you just could not stop what was going on. So, with that, Sadiq and Fiayla.
Is there like on the stairwell down? She can't see one of us if I stand in the stairwell, can she?
It's a basic cellar, so I'd say if you were standing at the top of the stairwell, she probably couldn't, from her position, would not be able to see you. By the time you sort of got a third the way down the stairwell, she'd be able to see like your feet and legs.
So I'm hoping Sadiq's lower down than me, and I'm gonna say, Sadiq, I have something I want to show you real quick, and I'm gonna use a few seconds to show him something. Sorry, guys, and I'm gonna send it to my DM.
Can I hear this down there?
Probably.
Okay, cool. Sadiq, you can react to that in any way you wish.
Well, I be buggered. So wait a minute. What does this mean for the party? I'm saying this to Fiayla.
I know, that's why I didn't answer.
I was confused. So you're gonna understand when I say now that I truly love Namaris, but we can't let her live. And I want to tell you this because of what happened to your tribe. I know you were really hopeful to find them, but I thought maybe you'd want vengeance for your people. Because no matter what, she's always going to have Ashana in there. What do you say?
Well, normally I would allow the authorities to deal with this, but I don't think it's something they should do. It's something that people that know her should give her the right to do or say, or choose the way that she should go. So I'm willing to go with whatever your decision is.
I've I've thought about this from when we first lost her, and if there was any way that Thorfinn, like I'm sure Kostas Cass and even Eric the Awesome were once loved by someone as well, but all the love in the world's not going to bring her back. And if Thorfinn could, then we'd have a remedy for Kostas. We wouldn't be killing him. So that's my viewpoint. I don't think there's any coming back from the hells, and I want her to have peace. But I don't know if you want to talk it with the others or if we should just do it while we have the chance before this envoy comes.
Or do we leave it in her hands? Like, does she want to end it without being put on trial and her name, be, destroyed? Actually have the choice to do something for the greater good.
Amaris, roll a perception check for me, please. At disadvantage.
I can't get much worse than a natural one.
Ooh, so you don't hear this conversation going on at all, even though they are in the same room at the top of the stairs. Natural one, guys. So you don't you do not hear what is currently being said. Carry on, guys. You're awake. You just don't hear it.
I don't know. If we did this, I don't know what the others would do because they've known her for longer.
I'm going to go over and I have a scimitar in my inventory. And
Yes.
I'm going to kneel down by her. And I'm going to look in her eyes and say, Namaris, do you want peace?
I just roll over and look at Fiayla, and I'm like, what do you mean? Of course I want peace, but
You notice that she has a weapon in her hand, drawn. Well, you're not. Maris is not stupid.
no, Maris is not stupid.
Is Ashana always going to be there, Namaris?
Thorfie's managed to keep her locked away for this long. But yes, she's always going to be there.
Yeah, I can, hang on. This is hard.
I just closed my eyes because I'm stuck to the wall.
I'm gonna kneel kind of behind her and give her a hug from like behind,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna attempt to slit her throat.
Wow. Okay. Namaris, are you going to fight?
Is there any point? I'm stuck to the
Well,
wall.
you're chained, but you can still struggle or call out. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you have a choice to make. Whether you allow her to end your life, or whether you cry out for help. Basically, you got 6 seconds.
I think I'd probably cry out.
4.
I say, make a decision. You got 6 seconds.
Okay, I'm going to struggle.
You know, you're going to call out for help. We're just going to struggle.
I'm going to do both. Call out for help and struggle.
So first things first, make a strength check at disadvantage still. You are chained and you are exhausted. If you were just chained, I'd probably
15?
make it a straight roll, but 15 with a holy shit. Okay, so 15. Yeah, roll a d20 for me. Yeah. Great d20.
I got a 16.
Wow. Namaris, you call out. Well, you don't really call out. You sort of you almost bellow in a form of rage again, like struggling against Fiayla, sort of calling out no in a loud sort of guttural voice. Sadiq, you hear this quite well from your position on the stairs. Can I get everyone in the inn to make a perception roll for me, please?
$13.
13 for you. Hett, what was your roll?
10 for Hett.
10 for Hett. Bash is 16. Inari, what is your roll?
What about Inari? 10?
10. So Bash is the only one that hears anything. Everyone else is sort of, you're too busy talking, and Bash sort of says, "Oi, did you guys hear that?
No?
Namaris just sort of like called out or something. Is that?" So he just gets up and starts walking towards the cellar. He gets to the cellar door. All within this time, you just pretty much just as Fiayla, you're struggling with Namaris. You haven't quite got the purchase you need yet to make the to actually try and kill her. Bash reaches the door, and Sadiq, you're on the stairs, and Bash sort of walks in and sort of looks at you. Can't really see past you at this point, but sort of says, "Everything all right? You guys all right down here? We heard a noise."
Yeah, everything's okay, Bash.
Sure.
Yep, I'm positive.
Bash is going to roll an insight. Roll a deception check for me, Sadiq. Because he can hear the rattling of the chain and stuff as well. It's pretty audible. There's a bit of a struggle going on.
17.
Ooh, he sort of looks at you and then sort of turns back to the group and says, "I think everything's okay." And then he surges forward and pushes you out the way, Sadiq. Roll strength check for me.
That would be 4.
14. Bash just shoulder barges you as he steps forward. Bash rolled a 25. Rolled a natural 20. So Bash surges forward and shoulder charges you as he sort of steps into you, knocking you back a few steps against the wall. You sort of have to grab and balance yourself against the railing of the wall as he sort of surges down. He turns as he gets to the bottom of the stairs and sees you, Fiayla, behind Namaris. I would imagine by now tears streaming down your face. Namaris is struggling. Fiayla, roll a d6 for me.
Can the rest of us see this from the top of the stairs? What happened, or is it blind to us?
You probably would have seen Bash sort of turn and say, I think everything's all right, and then you would have seen him just sort of push forward, and you probably would have heard the scuffle on the stairs.
Hett misty steps to the top of the stairwell.
So at the top of the stairwell, this is all sort of happening all at once. So at the top of the stairwell, Hett, you see Bash step forward, shoulder charge into Sadiq, knocking Sadiq out of the way, sort of turning, grabbing his axe at the same time, turning into the basement to see what was happening. From the top of the stairs, you cannot see Fiayla and Namaris at this point, but you can sort of see Bash.
Hett thinks Bash has gone crazy because he has seen nothing else to say otherwise. He just saw Bash push Sadiq over. He casts command at Bash. What's
the save for that?
I'm saying it without looking it up, so I'm just looking it up now.
I'm pretty sure it's your DC, just a wisdom save DC, your spell DC.
Yeah, command at third, so wisdom, yes.
Bash rolled a natural 20 again.
Holy hell.
Holy shit. 2 in a row, guys. Bash sort of blinks and looks at you because he knows if it's failed, he knows what's tried to be cast and who it came from.
Correct.
And he just, in that second, he just says, "They're trying to kill her," and surges forward. What was your roll, Fiayla?
2.
With a 2, you tense up with everything you've got, and you just draw your blade across Namaris' throat, opening up the carotid artery, spraying blood forth over the bed. Namaris' eyes roll back in her head as she looks up. Gurgling, bubbling sounds now come from her neck. Bash just sort of has from the top of the stairs. Hit, all you see is just Bash's mouth just drop open, and he just drops his axe and sort of staggers backward.
Does Hett see much other than him staggering backwards?
That is all you see. You're still at the top of the stairs. You haven't descended down far enough to see what's happening.
So Hett's command was going to be kneel, and so he assumes that he has done what Hett's commanded.
Oh, he hasn't knelt. He's just staggering backwards towards the wall, like he's in shock.
Oh, okay. Well,
he's dropped his axe and he staggers. Yeah, he's dropped his axe. He staggered backwards, just with a look of absolute horror on his face.
I just hold her and whisper, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry."
And Anari kind of follows to the stairs to see what's going on.
Probably by this time, Hett, you could probably hear Fiayla weeping and saying she's sorry. And by now, you would probably hear the sounds of like Namaris. She by this stage, she's that bubbling, gurgling sound coming from an open throat wound is probably quite audible. Like she's struggling to try and breathe through a severed esophagus and all that sort of stuff. So everything's probably quite audible at this point.
Hett runs down the stairs to the base of the stairs, I guess.
Yeah.
To see what is actually going on.
And as you turn, you see just that. Fiayla cradling Namaris, gaping wound across her throat, and blood everywhere.
Cure wounds at third. Hett doesn't even bother grabbing his loot out. He just holds the head of it and puts his arm over it. Cure wounds at third.
For Namaris?
For Namaris, correct.
Third level. Will that be enough? Roll a d6 for me. Just to see if the spell succeeds.
I rolled a 5.
As you sort of hold your hand out and concentrate with everything you've got, the wound does start to close. But as it starts to close up, you're looking into Namaris' face. Her eyes are now rolled back in her head. That gurgling sound is starting to subside. The wound is starting to close, but it's very slowly. It's a very superficial wound. You're not entirely sure whether your cure wounds is going to completely heal it or not. But the wound is healing. It's starting to knit, but it's very deep. It's almost severed her head. It was very, very deep.
DM question.
Yes.
The creature or the person inside Namaris, are they two separate entities or are they one and the same?
It's all one and the same. As far as you know, it's all one and the same.
As far as I know. Yep, sweet.
So, Namaris, can I get you to roll? Actually, no, I will roll something for you.
Okay.
At the same time, Hett looks at Fiayla and says, "What the hell are you doing?"
I don't say anything.
And with that, you all hear the final breath of Namaris as she dies in Fiayla's arms.
Hett falls to his knees and drops his loot.
Bash is just stunned, leaning back against the wall, and just has no words. He's absolutely stunned about what's just taken place. Alessandros and Anari. I mean, Anari, you said you were at the top of you were coming to the top of the stairs.
Yep.
You've probably heard some of the. You've heard probably what Hett has said. That is about it. You're still not sure what's going on. You're still at the top of the stairs. Alessandros, if you didn't move anywhere, you're probably still at the table, so you have no clue what's going on. You know something's happened, because you probably heard muffled voices, but that's about it. Posture check. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll get up and see what the commotion's all about.
So Alessandros and Anari, you move now into the cellar, and you are greeted with that same sight as you sort of move now to the bottom of the stairs, past Sadiq, who is still standing on the stairs. Everyone's faces is just sullen, like there's no real expression to everyone except Bash. Bash just looks horrified. As you move down, and just in the dim light that is in the basement from the candlelight that's here, you are greeted with that same now scene where Fiayla is cradling a now deceased Namaris.
I go over to Fiayla to make sure she's okay because she's covered in blood.
Hett just burns another healing cure wounds at 3rd level, knowing it's not going to work, but he's trying anyway.
You cast it, and the wound closes. The wound heals, but she's not breathing. She is dead.
Hett leaves, picks up his gear and walks out.
Bash sort of just collects himself for a moment, picks up his axe, looks at Fiayla, then sort of turns and looks at Sadiq, and says, "I thought she was your friend," and then walks out.
I'm lost for words, and I'm walking back up the stairs.
I'm gonna get up and go to. Is it a dwarven person that owns this
Yes,
inn?
yep. Thrimin is a dwarven owner of the inn.
I'm gonna ask him if I can send a message to Thorfinn.
Frodon's a halfling. Grimmon's the owner of the establishment. He's a dwarf. He won't be able to do it for you, but he will tell you that Frodon be the person to talk to for the magical stuff.
I'll be busy going to him to send a message to Thorfinn with him while everyone does what they do.
I just look at Sadiq and Fiayla and guess that's the balance restored and carry on up.
So with that, so Hett is left, and have you left the building, Hett, or you just gone upstairs?
Hett is continuing to walk out the door and down the street.
Bash is probably not far behind you. He is probably maybe 10 feet behind you doing the same thing. Then Sadiq, what is Sadiq doing at this point?
I'm gonna go get a blanket. I'm gonna cover up Namaris and tie her up into a package. So that,
Okay.
yeah, I can honor her properly.
Okay, so message received and sent. Fiayla?
I'm just upstairs sitting at the table, getting a drink.
So with that, we will switch to Hett. Was walking, seems to be walking. Bash sort of hurries to catch up and doesn't say anything. Yeah, doesn't say anything to you, just sort of catches up and walks beside you.
It's the middle of the day, right?
It is. By this time, we're probably looking around, well, it's probably still mid-morning, probably early, just before lunch, about 11:30.
Hett looks to Bash and says, I would not hang out with me at this moment.
Bash sort of, again, just doesn't say anything, just looks at you and nods, but stays walking with you.
There's going to be a lot of pain. I don't think you want to be near me.
Bash turns to you at that point and says, I may not have known her, but I'm not sure that what they did was the right thing. And it hurts me inside to have someone who seemed innocent. She seemed on the level. And no one should have done that. And with that, he just roars. I mean, he's a big dude, but his voice isn't as guttural and deep as it is at this moment. He just lets out a very primal roar. It's very loud.
How many people are we near the edge of the town, village?
Probably
by
probably by this point. It's not a big town, so probably by this point you guys will be getting towards the eastern road, or the eastern exit of the town, which is pretty much where you guys headed out towards the when you got No Marsh back, so that same side of town.
Hett turns one last time and says to Bash, I warned you, stand back. And he gives him a second. Hopefully Bash moves.
He does. He sort of sidesteps a little and moves back.
Hett now burns Arms of the Rattlehead at 3rd level.
Ooh.
Then he burns it again. Then he burns it again 5 times at 2nd level. And then he burns it again 4 times at 1st level, expending every spell slot he has. And as he does this, he roars out in rage, with the ice and the steam blasting everywhere. Arms of the Rattlehead is a 10-foot distance radius from the center from Hett.
Right, and with that, everything in front of you is incinerated.
That is, I can give you the total dice if you like.
No, I don't think I need to worry about that. Everything everything is just ash in front of you. Ash and ice. It's a mixture, a combination of both. And
Just so everyone knows, that was 33d6.
Wow.
that was a lot of damage. So there's it's like a scorched earth going on just outside of the village right now, but it's icy scorched earth. So with that, we'll switch back to Fiayla. You've spoken to Frodon, and he was able to send your message. The look on his face as he sort of sent it for you was like, okay, but at the same time, knowing that Namaris is dead, it kind of is a comfort to him as well. But he's sort of unsure what the message means, but he sent it for you.
I'm going to go up to my room and not clean up. I'm just gonna kind of crumple in a ball and cry, kind of thing.
Okay. So that leaves Sadiq, Elshandros, and Anari still back at the inn.
I'm drinking. I don't care what anybody says.
So you're not saying anything. You're just going to sit there and drink.
Pretty much.
How much are you going to drink? And what?
Haven't we thought that far?
Well, think about it, because I'm asking.
By one of my my floor that I have.
So, I mean, I would assume, I mean, it's up to you what you're drinking. There was coffee on the tables, but if you've approached Thrimmon and wanting something stronger, you can. It's up to you. There's ale, there's whiskey, there's probably rum available, wine.
I'll stick with the coffee.
You're going to stick with the coffee? So you're just going to sit there and just drink coffee and not say anything? Okay. Anari, Sadiq.
I take it I've bandaged up.
You've spent that time. You wrapped her up, respectfully, as much as you agreed with what Fiayla did. She was basically a friend of yours. You didn't know her very well, but you knew her well enough to know, and with your not so much your background, but with your deity in mind, you respected her as a soldier. You respected her as a warrior. And you're showing her that respect now by wrapping her up.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say a prayer over her, pick her up, take her up, put her in the cart, and then I'll go in and start.
Okay. Anari, what are you doing at this point?
I am sending word to the Emerald Enclave just to let them know what's happened and that they don't.
So what's
need
your
to
message?
Anari, no, Namaris has come to an end. No need to send the envoy.
And you get a message, a brief message back from one of the clerics of the Enclave saying, "Oh, I see. The Enclave shall arrive anyway. That is not us. That is coming from Beyond. But I will send a message to Coram to inform him." Well done, Anari. Stay on mission.
I will.
You can't reply back to that.
Okay.
The message
I
that you
will
send,
just nod my head to myself.
The messages you can send are one way. So you can send once to them and they send once to you. You can do that once per day. Just be aware of that.
Sweet.
With that, after about half an hour, Hett and Bash are still gone. Hett, you receive about 20-30 minutes later, you and Bash are still on the outskirts of town. You're not really talking to each other. You've both expressed anger and pain and sort of just sitting there quietly thinking about what's happened. You get a message from Coram saying, "Hett, what? I just got word that Namaris is gone. What happened? Why?"
Hett does not know.
Is that what you say?
That is all Hett says.
10 minutes or so later, you get another message from Coram basically saying, the envoy will still arrive in a few hours. There will be a cleric with them. He may be able to do something. Do not dispose of the body.
Hett thinks it is too late.
That's pretty much what you get.
Hett is just sitting on the ground on the outskirts of the village, pondering this message.
Bash, at that point, gets up and just, again, doesn't really say anything to it, just walks past you heading back towards town and just places a hand on your shoulder and then just leaves you to it and walks away.
Did Bash hear that message too, or was it just to me?
It was just you. So with that, Hett, you are out on the outskirts of town, sitting by yourself.
Hett stays as close to trees and things off the road as he can, but out of sight of people if he can.
Do that, not a problem. If you're wanting to try and sort of hide yourself, roll just a stealth check for me. Just so to see how well you're trying to hide from prying eyes.
Okay, that is 14.
14. As far as I know, you are well hidden. Back to the rest of the group. After about 45 minutes, the inn door opens and Bash walks back in. Looks around the room. By this point, Sadiq, you've been drinking a little bit. What are you drinking?
Mead.
Mead? After about 45 minutes, how much would you say that you would have drunk?
Probably 3 or 4 jug thingos.
Okay, so three or four good-sized handles. Make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
That would be a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You're not feeling too bad. I mean, you probably got a bit of a glow on, like just the start of that sort of tipsy feeling. Anyone else who's drinking alcohol would, if you've drunk that much, you would be making the same checks. But I'm pretty sure Alessandra, she's still on coffee. I don't know if Inari was drinking at all.
No, Hanari would have been with the coffee on the coffee.
Bash, sort of as he came to the inn, noticed the body on the cart and sort of took note of that, and he walks in, walks directly up to you, Sadiq, just reaches up and grabs you by the scruff, and with a strength check of a natural 19, picks you up off your chair and now has you dangling 6 inches off the floor in front of his face. And just very quietly but intently looks you in the eyes and says, "Why?"
Because she was not Namara's anymore. And she, or that thing, killed my entire clan.
You don't know that she was not redeemable or savable. And with that, he lets you down and punches you fair in the jaw. You will take 10 points of bludgeoning damage as he hits you as hard as he can, and he make a athletics check for me.
$15.
Doesn't knock you down, but you definitely knocked backwards a couple of steps. It splits your lip open quite severely. There's quite a deep sort of laceration on your bottom lip as your lip is crushed against your teeth, or especially that tusk on that side. Do you retaliate?
No, not at all.
Uh,
But I do look at him and go, and how would you know if that was Namaris or not anymore?
you had no right to make that decision. She was going back to Vallon to
What?
be put on trial and
Has
tested.
the right. Yes, they have the right, but her friends don't have the right to help her be herself one more time.
You don't know that that helped her? She didn't think so. She tried to fight it. If she thought that that was going to help her, she would not have fought and not cried out. You know better than the entity that lived inside her body.
And you think it was Namaris that called out and not the entity that lived inside her body?
You don't know that anymore. We won't know that for sure at all now. Those decisions are made by men, if you can call them a man, like Cass. You know better than they are. And he sort of walks past you heading up to the room and just, again, shoulder checks you as he walks past. He goes up to one of the rooms and you hear him slam the door behind him. Right, so that leaves Inari, Sadiq, and Alessandros in the inn by yourselves. Hett nowhere to be seen. Fiayla's upstairs in her room. Bash is upstairs in his room. Anything you guys want to do at this point?
Nah, I'm just gonna sit back and keep on drinking.
Might
Be a
go and
quiet night. Day.
might just sit here and look at Sadiq and say, dude, blood on your lip. You're alright?
Not the first time I've taken a knock. Won't be the last.
And I just look at them. And I look at Sadiq and I say, I understand why you did what.
I have the feeling that you're probably one of the only ones that would understand. In the Enclave, maybe.
Hmm.
Then I'm going to look over at Allie and go, and what do you think about it, Allie?
She's lucky.
How is she lucky, Allie?
They're just lucky to be able to be put out of their misery. Just lucky.
Right.
I look at Alessandros and I'm like, would you like to be put out of your
Cut off. Still not holding your button long enough.
would you like to be put out of your misery?
I'd fight, but if I died, I'm lucky.
That's a interesting way to look at it, Ellie.
I'm looking at his coffee cup going, are you sure that's not late?
Still taking your finger off the button too soon.
I'm just trying to work out how I feel about Amaris. Apart from the fact that she's lucky.
I didn't know her, so I have no feeling at all.
In.
Yeah, I think the only one that's gonna have a feeling bad about it is probably Thorfy and probably Coram and Hett. But I stand by what I did and I'll do it again.
At this point, I'll take my leave and go and check on Fiayla.
Okay, so you go head upstairs, and you go to Fiayla's room, and you knock on the door. Fiayla, do you answer?
Yeah, well, it's open, so it probably just opens up on itself.
Okay.
So on my way up the stairs, I grabbed a cloth and some water from your man behind the bar.
Thrimin.
Thurman, that's the man. And I walk in and hand Fiayla a cloth and say, you know, you did the right thing.
It doesn't feel like that right now. I know I did,
Just gonna
but
pay.
yeah.
That's okay.
Well, there you go, chat. Yeah. Sadiq didn't do anything. Technically.
So how is
Guilty by
everyone
omission.
else doing?
They're a little shocked. Sadiq is okay. Ali doesn't know what to think and haven't seen Hett. Surprised at Bash. Bash was quite upset. But then I guess he hasn't seen what we have.
You haven't seen anything.
I've seen plenty in the past.
All of the people that she's killed were somebody's sons and brothers and sisters and daughters, and I don't. Looking back, I won't regret it, but I will miss
That's
her.
it, chat. We don't know what's going to happen now, do we? This is this is unexpected to me, guys. I didn't see it coming.
We'll just have to see what happens and
This was
let
completely
everybody
out of left
regroup
field, and it's awesome.
sort themselves.
I guess I should clean myself up.
Yes, you should. That blood's starting to dry in your hair and it doesn't look good. There's a really good bathhouse.
No, there ain't.
Was there a really good bathhouse?
No.
Damn it.
Nutty's obsession with bathing is coming back into play, guys. So with that, you help let's sort of clean up a little bit. Now we will leave the inn, head back to Hett, who is still AWOL on the outskirts of town. By this time, I'd say Hett's probably stayed out there 2 or 3 or 4 hours. And Hett, along the road, you see 4 or 5 figures walking, but heading towards town. From this distance, you can see the lead character is Dwarven, dressed in the colours of Helm, and the 4 or 5 travelling behind him looked like Coram's personal guard, wearing the same sort of flashy armour that Gorham's personal guard. You can't sort of make out faces, but you can see the uniforms quite clearly where you are.
Hett assumes this is the envoy and steps up to greet them. Hett has no tears, just in case you're wondering.
That's all good. So as you approach, you step out and approach them. The lead, the dwarven man at the front, is his average height for a dwarf, long dark hair, a shorter beard than most dwarves, but still all dwarves love their beards, so he's definitely got a beard, but it's not quite as long and not braided like you normally get with most dwarves. But he sort of walks up and it seems he recognizes you as he approaches. Hey, Mr. Hett. My name is Alatar Black, and I've been sent by Corim and Thorfi to come collect Nemaris so that she can go back to Verlond for trial and for cleansing, to ensure that she cannot be returned to Asmodeus's will. She was affected, much like Corim was, by a very powerful spell, and given time, she too will find peace.
I'm afraid you are too late.
Too late? What do you mean?
Nemaris has come to a tragic accident.
Well, how long ago? Where's the body?
A few hours ago. I think the body was left in place, but I'm sure the demons from the underworld have collected it by now.
I'm sure that's not the case, but let's head into town anyway. I need to examine the body and see what can be done. I have certain skills. We may, if depending on circumstances, we may be able to restore her. Please lead the way.
Hett nods and says, "Follow me." As he does, he uses his telepathy to Fiayla, and in the telepathic message he says, "The envoys are here. You have about 10 minutes. Burn the body, or they are going to try to resurrect it, I believe."
Interesting.
And he slowly heads towards
Wow.
town.
Didn't expect that. Well done.
Ow.
Hett is not an open book.
It is not an open book. So with that, it's probably going to take more than 10 minutes, but you're probably looking at about 15 to 20 minutes to get from the edge of town to the inn. But with that, Fiayla, you indeed, by this time, you probably would have headed down with Anari back to the main inn, and you would have received this telepathic message from Hett.
Yeah, my eyes widen a little bit, and I wipe the tears from my face and get up, and I go down to, let's see, Ali, Anari, and Sadiq are in the
They're in the
gathering.
main hall, yeah.
And I say, I slowly kind of relay what Hett said, but in a confused tone.
Sadiq, make another Constitution saving throw, please. This time at disadvantage. Because 4 hours of drinking, I'm assuming you'd be pretty fucking drunk by now.
That was awesome. I rolled 15 twice, so the con would be
Oh shit.
16, 17, 18.
Holy crap.
He's a bloody tank.
He's a tank, all right. Holy Jesus. So, I mean, with that, you're definitely drunk. I mean, we're not going to ignore the fact that you've had a substantial amount of alcohol, but you are a seasoned drinker and you are holding your liquor very, very well. But with the message that you received, you obviously inform them what you've done. You'll be a little shaky on your feet when you stand up. A little bit of stagger, but nothing too major.
All right, in a staggering format, I'm going to go out to the cart. I'm going to get on and I'm going to attempt to ride it out of town in the opposite direction
Okay.
to that they would be coming. So, actually heading towards where the mage was.
That's the direction which they're coming from.
Opposite direction to that then.
So the opposite direction you would know is where the pyre had been lit the night before for the other bodies. So,
right,
which is
heading
probably
towards
still
that.
burning. There was a lot of bodies. So you can head towards that. Roll an animal handling check for me at disadvantage in your drunken state to see how well you handle the horses.
Well, crap. That would be 14.
It's not bad. That's not bad. It takes you a little bit to sort of get the horses under control. They're a little bit skittish. And you've sort of rushed out there in a staggery kind of manner to sort of get up there. And you as you sort of got up onto the cart, you sort of slipped a couple of times and it spooked the horses a little bit. But after 3 or 4 minutes, you managed to steady them and get them moving. So you indeed move out towards the pyre, and as you get closer, you can still see the dim sort of orange glow from the pyre. It's probably going to need a little bit of accelerant to get it started again, but it's still hot. When you reach there, there's a couple of humans. They've just been sort of piling stuff up on it, and have just sort of piled on a sort of last couple of bodies. When you reach there, and they sort of turn and look as you approach. All right, what's this then? What you want?
You missed one, and I proceed to grab the body out of the back of the cart.
Oh, George, you were
Throw it
supposed to
on.
get all the bodies, mate. You God's sakes, can't do anything, right? And yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I got them all. And so he turns around.
This was underneath, some barrels and stuff. So it was
all right then. Well, bring it over so we can put it on the fire. We're just about to stoke it up again.
Oh, don't worry about that. I've got it. So I'm going to throw it on, and then I'm going to throw 3 flasks of oil onto Namara's.
Okay, awesome. And yeah, the moment you sort of throw it on it, and the fabric you've wrapped her in starts to smolder almost straight away, because it's still hot, but it's not like burning. And with that, at the moment you throw the oil on, the oil just ignites instantly, and Namaris's body is engulfed in flames. So you stand there for a moment and you watch. How long do you stand? Are you going to stay there and watch until she completely burns, or you're just going to assume that everything's good and you're going to walk away?
I'm going to, because I'm pretty fucked up, I'm going to
Yeah.
probably just go back to the cart and sit on the cart and watch her
Okay.
burn and say another.
So you sit there and without saying anything, the other 2 guys sort of just piled, they piled the last couple of bodies on. They chuck some bit of bracken and dry stuff on it to keep it burning, and they sort of give you a half-past salute wave and move on back to town. We'll then from there switch back to town. Hett, you are leading the envoy towards the inn, and you...
No, Hett is leading
no?
them around a back block, and around another block. And he is weaving in and out of different streets, just still moving forward, but making it as hard as possible.
Roll... Actually, I'm going to make a quick roll. These guys are not stupid. Yes, they are. So they've not really noticed. They don't know the town. Alatar turn around, sort of says to you a couple of times, is it far, Hett? We need to get to her body as quickly as possible.
No, it's not much further, actually. This town is a bit of a maze, like a rabbit warren. But I assure you, there's nothing left of her. She was spawn of demon, and she burned to ash like demon.
Well, it's not entirely correct. She was not a demon. She was Kalashtar, and the entity that was within her is a part of her culture, her race, easily subdued. But we did not anticipate Asmodeus having the ability to bring her forth. I assure you this could not happen again.
Yeah, I guess. Well, hope you guys have got some pretty good manacles. Because, magic manacles might be the best bet at this point. Maybe even some clay and water so you can rebuild her shape. But nonetheless, I believe you are too late. Tell me, which one of you is able to help her if she's dead? This is an odd thing.
If she is if she's dead, she can be brought back. I am a cleric after all.
Hett stops in the middle of the street and says, I too practice in the way of the cleric, but what you talk of is necromancy. They never come back the same.
No, they always come back different, but as I said, this entity you speak of is not demonic at all. She has been trapped inside Namaris's body for a number of years and was set free by Asmodeus and corrupted by Asmodeus. We were definitely able to fix that. But if if what you say is true and she has been destroyed and is nothing to bring back, Coram is not going to be pleased to hear this.
No, I guess he's not. Oh, well, that's the breaks. Anyway, what god do you pray to?
Well, Helm, of course. The same god as Nemaris, and half the realm worship Helm, god of goodness and justice.
Say, have you ever heard of the Steel Lady?
Of course. Heard of several deities in these lands.
Yeah, drop that helm aside. The Steel Lady, if you're going cleric, she's where it's at. There's none of this resurrection business, but because that's necromancy, we all know that. But she's the god of sanctuary. I mean, everyone likes women in uniform, right? I delay. I suppose we should carry on. We've been standing here for far too long now. Now, what way was it? Right or left?
And with that hit, can I get you to make a wisdom save throw for me?
Oh, that is low. 7.
As you were sort of babbling on, you probably didn't notice because you were too busy prattling and trying to stall that Alatar had raised his hand and sort of muttered a couple of words under his breath, and the only thing you heard is lead the way. You are now under the effects of a command spell, and you will lead the way directly to the inn.
Okay, Hett leads the way directly to the inn. Hett still has control of his mind, correct?
He does. You just follow that command without question.
Hett telepathically says to Fiayla again, I hope you've got rid of that body. We're in some deep shyster right here. We're about at the town, and we are in big trouble, and I cannot control my legs.
You cannot reply to this, Fiayla, unfortunately, but you do get Hett's message. So with that, yes, Fiayla?
It's a bit muddled, so I replied to the group. Apparently, he is Legolas, and he hopes that we've gotten rid of it.
Hett
I'm
more
gonna touch my earring of
yes, earring of sending,
and send back to him. Send back saying to the entire group saying, "And I thought I was the one that's drinking. How's he Legolas?"
Well done. Good use of the ring.
Hett telepathically reply, because he's not using the ring because of the dudes. He telepathically replies to Sadiq, "Get out now. We are in trouble. Go. Leave me."
Touch the ring and say, "Already dealt with. We'll deal with the rest as a group."
Affirmative.
So as you approach the inn, Hett, you are unable to deviate from a direct path to the inn. once you get to the inn itself, you find that you're able to pretty much do what you want again. After that, the command spell fades away as you sort of lead up to the inn. Alatar sort of signals to the guard with him, and one of them reaches out and grabs you by the arm. Says to you, right, you wait here. Don't move. And Alatar heads towards the inn by himself. Two of the guards, well, not by himself, two of the guards follow up behind him and sort of stand at the door, and the other two follow him with him. As he walks inside and sort of sees the rest of you, he's well aware of who you all are. Bash is still upstairs. He has not come down. Elatar sort of looks around the room and says, right, where is she? Someone better answer me soon, or there will be trouble.
Who?
You know very well who, Inari. Do not play stupid with me.
I'm guessing we're all downstairs then.
I saw she was out there.
She was in the basement.
Pointing outside.
He sort of flashes a hot glance at you, Alessandros, and then sort of turns around and says, so she's not here.
She's
Where
dead.
is the body?
Would I have seen them take her out? Yes, I would, because I was with Fiayla.
Everyone was together when Sadiq took off to get rid of the body.
Right,
So you guys know what's happening. You know where you don't know where Sadiq's gone, but you know he's gone and taken the body.
The truth is, we've been drinking a lot, and I'm not really sure what you're looking for is.
Right. And with that, he walks over to you, Fiayla, puts a hand on your shoulder and casts lesser restoration. So if you were under the influence of any alcohol, you're no longer. And he says, no. Explain to me exactly what happened.
Well, now that my mind's clear, it's kind of a blank. So, Nar, you wanna help me?
With that, he sort of stands up straight and says to the two guard with him, he says, right, instead of recovering Neymaris, we are here to arrest the Lions of Voland for murder.
Where is Hett at this stage? Was he left outside?
He was left outside. You are being held by one of the guards. The other two guards, now hearing this, have entered the inn. And now there are 4 of Quorum's personal guard inside the inn with you guys, along with this cleric.
I look at them and I say, murder.
For the murder of Neymaris, she was to be returned to Voland, but not to take matters into your own hands. This is against the laws of this realm. You are not judge, jury, and executioners. No, Hett, you cannot hear this. You are outside. You cannot hear what is going on.
Who says we were murdering anyone?
I believe that is blood on your hands, Missy.
I get blood on my hands every day.
And with that, he motions to the guards who firstly approach you, Alshonus, with and from inside a pouch grabs a pair of manacles. What do you do?
Is it team leader in there?
Nope.
Didn't think so.
got 6 seconds, dude. What are you gonna do?
I haven't paid sight. Oh, I don't have that yet.
Don't have that yet.
I'll just take it.
Take it. So he sort of looks at you. You reach your hands out, and he just looks at you as if to say, "Yeah, right. Turn around." Orders you to turn around. You turn around. He manacles your hands behind your back and sits you down at a table. One of the other guards then approaches you and Ari. Same thing.
I look at him and say, "You don't deal with me. I have orders. I take my orders, not from."
And with that, Alatar turns to you, Anari, and pulls an amulet from beneath his robes, which is an Emerald Enclave seal, and says to you, "You, Messe, take your orders from me."
And I hold out my arms.
And you are turned and shackled also. And he then turns back to you, Fiayla, and says, "The moment you cut her throat, we knew about it.
And how is that?
We are linked by your amulet to us. We know everything that happens." And he nods to the guard. And Fiayla, you are also shackled if you don't resist.
Oh, I want to resist so bad.
And he sort of leans in a little bit closer so no one else can hear you. He says, "Remember, we know." And looks you directly in the eye as he leans back.
I'm going to get arrested.
So you two are shackled. Hett, as the third guard now comes out the front door, and the guard says, "Boss says to shackle this one." And the guard that's holding you produces a pair of shackles also.
Oh, I like shackles. And Hett puts his arms out.
He literally grabs your arm, pulls them behind your back, and shackles you from behind, and then moves you into the inn with the rest of them. And
Whoa, you're supposed to take me out for dinner first.
he doesn't respond at all. The guard's very stoic. "Cheers for the raid, Blue. Appreciate it." So with that, he leads you into the inn. Bash is still upstairs, hasn't come down at this point. Sadiq is still AWOL. None of you actually know where he is. You just know that he's gone with Namaris's body. And you're still at the fire site, I believe, Sadiq. So, with sort of the commotion that was happening downstairs, Bash sort of, after a little while, sort of comes down, sort of walks down, axe still on his back, and sort of sees roughly what's happening, notices the shackles, and just says, "What's going on? What's happening? Who the fuck are you?" Pointing at the cleric. And the Alatar sort of speaks up, then looks at Bash and says, "Right, the mercenary. Being a mercenary is against the law, you know that. But I know you had nothing to do with what happened here. Are you willing to testify about what happened when we get this lot back to Volant for trial?" He sort of looks around, looks at each one of you like individually. So he first looking at Alchandris, and sort of he lingers on each one of you as he sort of looks at you, looking for some kind of indication of why he should help, basically, or where his loyalty should lie. He first looks at Alchandris, then to Anari, then to Hett, and sort of looking at you, Hett, he's a little confused as why you're shackled. And then to Fiayla. He then turns to the cleric and says, "What are the charges? I don't believe you have any evidence to support any kind of charge." And the Elder says, the charge is murder. Who's murder? He says, Nemaris. Yeah, accent mix up, sorry. And Hett Bash just turns around and says, well, I think she was already dead, mate, when we got here. We fought an undead dragon out on the outskirts of town, and then she was sort of turned back to herself a little bit, and then during the night, something happened during my watch. I fell asleep, and so I've been hiding upstairs. I feel a bit guilty. But she was killed in the night by someone else. It wasn't these guys. These guys were her friend. They wanted to see her restored. He sort of looks at Bash, looks around the room at you guys, and sort of looks to you, Nomara, looks to you, Fiayla first, and then to Hett, and says, "Is that correct? Is what he's saying the truth?"
Yeah, I even tried to heal her multiple times, but to no avail. I mean, I guess you can detect magic in the cellar. I don't know. Do what you want. You guys seem to believe what you want to believe anyway.
And the blood? Is it not hers?
Well, that's why I was trying to heal her, right? You know, she was bleeding.
And I was holding her like my friend.
Make a wisdom save for me, Fiayla.
16?
16.
Oh, wait, +4. 16 plus 4 is 20.
Ooh, 20. So with that, he sort of, his expression softens a little bit. Just a little, not much, just a little. He says, right, we do have ways to get the truth. You realise that? But as a member of the Enclave, first and foremost, the balance has to be restored. Now, if you're telling me that she died by someone else's hand to restore balance, nothing more will be said here this day.
I pipe up and look at him and say that is the exact message I sent through to Quorum, or to the Enclave, to both.
Well, we'd received your message. But I know your message was a lie. But again, is it your standpoint that her death was to restore balance to these lands? And he's looking at all of you now for confirmation.
She would have gone on to kill hundreds, if not more, just as Kosis would.
I tend to agree.
I also pipe in and say this is what we do as part of the Emerald. We restore the balance. The balance has been restored. What is your problem?
You don't listen, do you, lassie? I just said that. Holy crap. You remember your place, Sonari. You're but a soldier in this battle.
And she shrinks a little bit in her chair.
So with that, he sort of nods to the guards, and you guys, your shackles are all released. He turns and says to the guards, "You will speak not of this to anybody, not even Coram. If I hear that he has been made aware of what has happened here, the Enclave will visit your families to restore balance, if you'd get my drift." And they all sort of just nod. You can tell they're nothing but soldiers. They do as they're told, and they're going to do exactly what they're told. And at this point, Alatar turns to you, Hett, and says, well, actually turns to you all, but specifically Hett. You notice that he's sort of talking sort of to you, but he's addressing everybody. He says, "Right, I have some information that will not be easy for you to swallow. Any of you, but especially you. But you need to say it. Probably a good thing that you did what you did when you did it, because after this you would have done it anyway." And with that, he sort of turns and looks and says, "Right, where's the other green man? Sadiq. He will need to be present here for this as well."
I'm going to walk in behind him and go, "Yes."
So I take it the disposal went well?
What disposal?
The body, Sadiq. Is it gone?
The burial was done. She is now at rest.
Good. Now I'd like you all to take a seat. This is not going to be pleasant.
Oh, me time. Yes.
And with that, we're going to take a short break, guys. We'll be right back with the message that Altar wishes to give everybody after the break, so bear with us. Right back. And we're back. Welcome back, chat. Just getting coffee and wee break and all the rest of it. So we'll take just 5 minutes here, do a bit of a Q&A if anyone's got any questions. Now's the time. Welcome everybody. We'd like to DV Siege, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Blue Moon Wilds for the raid as well. I know she had to go, but definitely thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. But yes, so an interesting turn of events, chat.
Surprise!
Something I did not expect as a DM. So this is what happens when you have players collaborating behind your back.
I had to hold on to that all week.
But in saying that, guys, it was awesome. It totally works for the story, and I think it makes the story amazing. So I'm all for it. So if you guys want to continue to do things like that throughout this campaign, please do. It just makes things more interesting for me as well. How many years in prison is it for murder? In the realm of Paradigm, it would have been a sentence of 50 to 55 years in a prison demi-plane. So you're not even in, you wouldn't no longer be in the material plane. Bind you to the 9 hells.
Damn it, I can't type.
Twice you can't type. But yeah, it works out about 50 years in a demi-plane, which is basically hard labor. Not a pretty place. And again, depending on the murder and how it's committed, whether it's premeditated or anything like that, there's variants on the sentencing. Some parts of the realms still have the death penalty, so it depends on where they're being tried, convicted. And yes, the death penalty is death by beheading. So, you know. But without any further ado, let's rejoin the group. All sitting around in the Huron Chalice Inn. Thrimond sort of behind the counter, sort of wide-eyed, wondering what the hell just gone on. Alatar and the guard now arrived and have kind of sort of arrested you guys, and now has something to show all of you after letting you know that he's part of the Enclave and that the decision that was made he totally agreed on. How long is that in BVS? Yeah, about a millennia. Funny, the guy with the compass got him lost all over town. Right, so with that, I have some stuff written down here. So as you are all sort of gathered together by Alatar, the guards have been told to wait outside, so they all move and wait outside. Thrimond has been asked to also leave the premises. Reluctantly he does so, but he does it nonetheless. With that, Alatar sort of says to you guys, right, you need to understand that what I'm about to show you is not real. You cannot interfere. These events have already happened, and they happened some time ago. Now, with that being said, Hett, please understand, this will upset you the most.
Okay.
And with that, all of a sudden, he sort of waves his hand, and all of you are collectively, your vision is sort of drawn into a long, dark tunnel, rushing clouds, sort of, it feels like you're falling, but moving forward at 100 miles an hour is just so quick, it almost disorientating as your vision is sort of thrust forward. Suddenly you sort of come to almost an abrupt stop, and it's the surroundings. Sort of look around you, and the surroundings are familiar to all of you, but especially you, Hett. You find yourselves standing on the outskirts of Arnis, Hett's hometown, home city, if you will. You've got no control over yourselves at this point, but you're moving. You're walking through the streets. You're moving through the streets of Arnis. You come to the city centre. It is sort of late afternoon, early evening. Sun is starting to set. Large gathering you find here. All sort of, you push your way through this large group of people that seem to be gathered at the centre of the city. What you see when you reach the front, there are several figures standing, all of which you know. Cass Agnon, the lead figure, standing out front. Next to him, Nemaris in her armour, standing beside him, sword drawn. Behind them, in the smoky haze of a partially destroyed city, which you now see behind them, is a large, dark red dragon. To his right is another tall, darkened figure, leathery wings folded behind his back. All figures that you've seen before. Asmodeus, Kosis, Nemaris, and Cass. In front of them, there are several hooded figures kneeling on the cobblestones. 7 figures, to be precise. Cass Agnon steps forward and starts to speak. People of Arnis, you are now under the protection of our great master. You fought valiantly, but there will be no more bloodshed this night. Save these 7. These will be a warning to all who oppose the will of the master. And with that, one by one, he walks behind the figures and removes the hoods, revealing familiar faces to you, Hett. The first, an Asamar woman. Hair sort of plastered against her face with sweat, dirty, but recognizable. Second, an older dragonborn. The 5 others, younger, all dragonborn. All looking out to the faces of the people in front of them, almost searching for a familiar face, but not finding them. Cass then motions towards the Dark Paladin, whose helmed and armoured face sort of turns towards him, those red eyes flashing beneath the armour. Walks forward to the first figure. The Asamar woman raises the darkened two-handed sword and ritually executes her in one strike.
Hett cries out uncontrollably, "No, don't do this."
As you cry out, Hett, you hear it in your head, but your voice is not heard by anybody else, not even in the group. Your screams are within your own mind at this point. The paladin then moves to the next figure, this time stopping briefly, removes her helmet, places it beside her, almost as though to get a better view of what she's doing. Her face tells the tale of her struggles. Her eyes are filled with pain and anguish. She steps forward behind Hett's father, the tears streaming down her face, seemingly in absolute anguish. You look into this face and you see your friend, Nemaris, but the eyes are dead and cold. Even though that they are welled with tears and the tears flow freely, they're not Nemaris's eyes. They are the eyes of someone you've not seen before. Save Hett, who saw these eyes once before, many moons ago, when he first met Nemaris. With that, the sword is raised once again, and then 5 more times, as Hett's family is executed one by one. As the last of Hett's brothers is dispatched, Cass steps to one side and Asmodeus steps forward. His leathery wings folded behind his back, he speaks and looks directly at you, Hett, at this point, as though he sees you. Let this be a lesson to those who oppose me. The lions of Valand you will not harbour or help, lest ye suffer this fate. He then, with that, as he sort of points a taloned finger to the corpses laying on the ground. And with that, the vision fades quickly and draws you back into your own bodies with a jolt as you sort of almost like suck back into reality. And with that, you will come back to consciousness, sort of blinking your eyes, you're sort of disorientated for a moment, trying to regain sort of the vision of reality. And as you sort of focus, Alatar's sort of sitting there with a very solemn look on his face indeed. Again, hasn't taken his eyes off you yet. As your eyes come to focus, you're looking pretty much directly into his face.
Hett is too weak to even stand now. Hopefully Hett was sitting.
Everyone was, yeah, he asked everyone to sit. Alatar sort of gets up and walks towards you and puts his hands on both your shoulders. I did not mean to, well, I did mean to tell you this, but this was the only way to show you exactly what happened. The town no longer exists. It has been razed to the ground.
So hold the fuck up. You came here knowing this has happened, and you were about to arrest us for killing her. And you knew this was going on, and you still made out like it was a... And Hett just stands up and walks upstairs and walks away.
He says nothing. He turns to the rest of the group and says, "You will need to watch him. I fear he is travelling a path that none of you can follow."
Why did you show us these things? Is it a warning, or can we change? Obviously, we can. But
what you have seen this night has already come to pass. Arnis no longer exists. There is nothing but ash where it once stood. We believe it was a warning to all of us, especially you, but we cannot deviate from this course. The Enclave will do what it can to support and aid you in your quests to gather information and weapons and spells to end this and seal the hells forever. But you need Hett to do it. He is now on a course of vengeance. He will do foolish things. He was already on that path. You must support him and do everything you can to stop him from going after Cass on his own. And he turns to you, Sadiq.
Yeah.
Your path is now intertwined with Hett's. You both seek the same thing. Do it together. All of you.
Oh, that would be my pleasure.
Asmodeus and Cass will do everything they can to break you. This was one of those things. I only showed you this as a group because the next time Hett sleeps, he would have been shown this from another, not from us. And it would have been alone and without his friends. Now you all share his grief and his pain. So hopefully, this means you will support him and kill this bastard. Inari.
On that note, what do you know about beholders?
Aye. The giant eye beast. Nasty creatures. Lots of tentacle eyes that cast different spells. Very nasty spells. They have an anti-magic cone ability as well, which they can turn on and turn off at will. Very intelligent. Possibly can reason with one if you're lucky, but if they have been hired or tasked to guard something, there is no reasoning with them. Hard to kill, but killable. He turns to you, Inari, and says, Inari, you have served the Enclave well. But from this day forth, your services will no longer be necessary as a soldier in this battle. You are free to join the Lions if you wish. You are no longer at the mercy of the Enclave. For 200 years you've served us. It is time you did something for yourself. You will always be a member, but you are no longer bound by a soldier's contract.
And there is, I am.
But your final task still remains. That is your main objective. Yes?
Yeah. I did what that was going to be my next question.
And with that, everybody, I bid you farewell. It's time I headed back. Now that you've seen my face, you know who I am. If you wish to contact me, I believe Inari has sending ability once per day. If you need information or aid, don't hesitate. The Enclave will do what it can, but we must remain as much impartial as we possibly can. But I must be leaving. Return these guard back to Coram and inform him that Nemaris is no more. Although, I believe he knows anyway. Thorfinn does not know yet. Leave that to us. We will let him know. And with that, he sort of turns and heads for the door, motioning for the guard to follow. and leaves. What are you doing, guys?
Well, I think we've been dicking around enough, people. We need to get a move on.
Sweet as Hett. Everyone make a perception check for me just quickly. And pretty much nutty, pretty much.
Okay, thank you.
Well, not at all costs, but high priority.
Yeah, well, that's... You know what I mean.
Yep.
What are we making?
6.
Perception. Yours will be a disadvantage anyway, Sadiq. You're pretty drunk at this point.
2.
Dirty 20.
27.
Wisdom saves dropping a raid. Holy crap, 25. I had to acknowledge that. We're right in the middle of a roll, guys, but welcome, Raiders. Holy Jesus. Thank you, Raiders. Thank you, Wisdom saves, for dropping in and dropping a raid. That's awesome. Let's get some hype in the chat, guys. Get some nat 20s up in here. Team Tej raid. Welcome, Raiders. My name's Evldoa. I'm from New Zealand. This is my homebrew 5e campaign. We're just making everyone make a perception check at the moment. Dirty 20 from Inari. Sadiq got a 2. Yanti and Alessandros, what are yours?
27.
27. Alessandros?
23.
23. So pretty much the 3 that were over 20 will hear the commotion going on upstairs. Bash doesn't hear a thing. But you guys hear the sound of it's muffled, but it sounds like there's a fight going on upstairs. Like it just physically there's stuff being moved and thrown around, things breaking. You don't hear voices, you just hear the breakaging of things. No worries, Wisdom. Thank you for the raid, buddy. Appreciate it. And thank you to all the raiders.
I'm gonna go up to Hett's room and take a chance.
So you're going to head upstairs. As you sort of head towards the stairs, Bash reaches out and puts his arm across a stairwell opening and just looks at you and says, Miss Fiayla, I think you should just leave it for a minute.
Why is that?
Let him get it out of his system. I mean, he's not in a good state right now. I think if you tried to walk in there, he might accidentally hurt you without thinking. And then he removes his hand to sort of let you make the decision.
Can I just let you roll and see what I do? Because I don't want to. Just gonna chance it. I'm just gonna wing it.
Okay, I'll do a 50-50 roll.
Yeah.
Yep, you go up.
I follow her.
Okay. So Fiayla, you ascend the stairs, and as you get closer to Hett's room, that sound gets louder. You can tell you've seen Hett go off before at the Mage's Quarter at the Arcanus. After the conversation with Thorfinn, he destroyed the hallway there, and you did see that or hear it. So it's a very similar thing going on here, but it seems a lot more intense. There is a lot going on in that room right now.
I'm gonna pull out my bag of coins and just start counting out some gold pieces to give to the barkeeper for the damage to the room.
For the support, Sadiq.
Thrimmon has sort of returned at this point, and he's sort of eyebrow raised, sort of looking around. Like, what's that noise? Oh, he's been drinking. I think I broke Nutty.
It wouldn't be the first time. So I hand him 21 gold and I say, he just got some really bad news.
Ooh, 8. He just sort of sighs and says, can't be any worse than those bastard bandits anyway. And he sort of goes over to the bar and grabs a pitcher of ale and just downs the whole thing in one go. Then just sort of sits down with another pitcher just drinking and pushes one over towards you, Sadiq. Ain't drinking alone.
Yeah, pick it up and I start nursing it.
Yeah, by this time you're pretty sloshed. But you're still relatively... Actually, make another con save for me. You've been drinking for quite some time, and I dare say you probably haven't stopped.
I stopped for the time that I was burning the Maris. Yeah,
just a straight roll.
Yeah, I got straight roll. That would be a 13.
13. Yeah, you're not like gone. You're getting close though. Your eyes are starting to sort of close, and you haven't got the hiccups yet. You haven't got the spins, but it's getting close.
Well,
Speech is a little slurred, but nothing too major. So with that, we go back to Fiayla, and Anario is sort of heading up the stairs towards Hett's room. So the noise is getting louder as you approach the door, and sort of as you approach the door just splinters into the hallway.
No need to check the doorknob then.
that's not locked.
Hett, describe what they see as they peek in the door.
The bed is complete splinters and blankets are not anywhere to be seen. The window is open and smashed. What would be a bedside table is what is up in his arms at the moment. He has just thrown one of the drawers through the door that splintered. He is smashing the bedside table against the window ledge. There are coat racks and things lying all over the floor. Any shelving or books is everywhere strewn across the room. And there is ice bleaching all over the place where he has used his ice breath and some of his lesser spells as he's just fired them across the room. It's a filthy, icy, disgusting mess. Oh, and he is yelling, "Fuck!"
Hey, buddy. Sun's getting real low. Hett, how are you doing?
Hett looks at her. You.
Reference.
Is Inari visible as well?
Nari, have you sort of peeked in as well? Or is it just
I'm
Fiayla?
right behind Fiayla.
So
yes, I would be.
Depending on where Fiayla is, if Fiayla's sort of just peeking the door frame, you wouldn't be visible.
I do not know what to say. Hett carefully puts the smashed drawers down and is taking deep breaths. Visibly, his shoulders rising and falling, and the steam breathing from his airways. Why did you do it? Why did you kill her?
I'm gonna slowly take like one step at a time and towards him and just say she was gonna kill probably all of us and more, and you saw in that vision what she did.
Use the dog eyes.
You're not even there. Shut up.
What? What do I do? Use the earring. You saw yourself in that vision. That wasn't me. That was Namaris. I love her more than anybody, just like you do. And I protected her and us.
Hett understands. But Hett has lost a lot more than that. Hett just does not understand why you couldn't tell the rest of us first.
Sometimes you have to keep something secret to save the people that you love, like you. And if I keep things from you, it's not because I'm bad or anything. It's because I want to protect you.
Right now, everyone else needs protection from Hett. Hett, you might not be able to tell, but Hett is a little angry.
Then let everyone else protect themselves against Hett. But who's gonna protect you? I can protect you.
Hett does not know. Hett does not think you need to protect Hett. Hett thinks that Kosis and Cass need protecting. Hett thinks we all need to go now and take them down. Hett thinks nothing should stand in our way.
What would your father do? Wouldn't he build up a team? Wouldn't he think strategically? He was a battle cleric, and he would weigh all the odds just like you should. And I think we can't do it by ourselves, but if you want them dead, we can probably do it together.
Hett's father was... Yes, you are correct. He was that way inclined. He spent a lot of time in books and planning. But books and planning have got us nowhere. Actions is what we need. Hett.
Hett, roll a wisdom save for me, please.
At this point, Inari's just gonna sneak back down the stairs, seeing that
Hett rolled a natural 20, giving him 23.
Holy shit. So with that save, as exhausted as you feel right now, because you've just expelled everything you have, all of your spells are gone, you're emotionally fucking on edge, you're on razor's edge, you're just so wound up, but your adrenaline is also at its peak. So you're so amped still.
Hett understands, and Hett knew that Namaris would probably have to be put down, and we spoke about this a long time back. Does not make it any easier for Hett. Hett needs a new place to stay.
I don't think you should be alone.
Yeah, so looking around the room here, I think you've finally come to realize exactly what you've done. In a fit of rage, you look around your room and your room is obliterated. As you're sort of just starting to sort of come off the edge of that sort of heightened anger and rage, you're starting to calm with speaking with Fiayla, you're starting to calm just a little bit, and you're sort of realizing exactly what you've done in this room.
They mentioned in the Emerald Clave downstairs mentioned that we shouldn't leave you by yourself at this time. So, you know.
Make a persuasion check for me, Auntie.
12. Can I roll again?
Hit roll D20.
DM's inspiration.
You have DM's inspiration, you do. You can roll that again with DM's inspiration.
Yes. And how many DM's inspirations do I have saved up after?
Just one. That's it. Once you've used it, it's gone.
19.
19. That's a better roll. So, Hett, with that, make a wisdom check for me.
Hett rolls a 6.
So, with Yanti's pleads and her reasoning,
Oh,
still no. Have you got DM's inspiration too?
Oh no, you called her something else.
Ah, sorry, Fiayla. I don't know who that other person was. Figment of my imagination. So as Fiayla's speaking to you and sort of she starts making more sense. You're still angry, you're still hurt, you're still suffering that great loss. But your rage levels drop enough where you're starting to see a little bit of reason. And you can sort of understand where she's coming from. You still want to go out and hurt somebody, but it's your more intellectual mind is starting to sort of take over a little bit now. You're starting to see more sense. She's very, very persuasive at this point.
Okay, Fiayla, you make sense to me now. I am acting like a child, I guess. I mean, that's an ass, yes, I guess. There's a lot to take in when you find out your whole family has just been killed, but I think I need to go and pay the innkeeper some money.
I didn't see Sadiq already pay, did I?
No, you probably wouldn't have. You would have been on your way up the stairs before that happened.
Hett removes his belt, his pouch from his belt, and as he begins to walk towards Fiayla, he says, "How much do you think I've destroyed in here?"
I'm gonna take a little scan of the room and
Everything is destroyed. The whole room is done.
We're gonna need to do a lot more questing, Hett.
I once traveled with some bards that were renowned for destroying every room they stayed in. But I guess I should probably make payment. Do you want, would you mind walking with me? I feel a little awkward.
Sure. I'm gonna take his hand and walk with him down the stairs.
Okay, so we'll head back downstairs before you get there. Back downstairs, Sriman and Sadiq are sitting at the table, drinking. Fire pit's still raging. Anari's come back downstairs. Bash has sort of joined them now in drinks. Not sure. Anari, did you join the group as well? Sitting drinking? Alessandros, what are you doing at this point?
So, guys, we going to change the name of the group, or we're going to stick with Lions of Valon? I don't think it suits us anymore.
Why's that?
Why you say that? I mean, we're first. You guys. I mean, I'm not part of your group, but oh, sorry, Ale. But everyone knows you guys as the Lions of Valon now, and technically, you're still part of the guild, and technically the guild leaders, and it's the Order of the Black Lion, so it kind of fits.
Yeah, but where we're heading, we probably don't want that notoriety.
And where exactly are you heading, Michelle Saunders? I mean, I know you're going to the tomb, and no one's really going to give a shit what you call down there.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Well, we do have the things from Coram and others in Valond to do. So at this point, would there be any reason in changing?
Well, when you think about it, I mean, that little short priesty dude, he's just, no one's going to know what happened here, so it doesn't matter. I've thought about it, and I mean, I didn't really know her, but she's done some terrible things. And he sort of looks at you, Sadiq, and sort of says, apologies for punching the mouth, but I was kind of conflicted at the time. I kind of get it.
Yeah, Bash, trust me. The person that you saw there was not Namaris.
Yeah, like I said, I kind of get it. She seems so genuine. What I'm trying to say. And when we were all speaking to her downstairs, I'm usually a pretty good judge of character, and she seemed pretty genuine. But as I said, you guys knew her better than me, and you've seen both sides. If you say it wasn't her, it wasn't her. And probably what happened was for the best. And sort of Thrimmon's going, I'm glad she's gone. And he's fucking written off. I really should go get some sleep. You guys just do what you want. I don't care. And he sort of gets up out of the chair and sort of staggers from one side to the other and heads back to sort of behind the bar, and you sort of assume he must have rooms out the back as well. And he sort of takes off. Sort of hear him banging and crashing through the kitchen and you hear breaking glass, and he goes, "Oh shit, that was a good year. Oh well," and sort of carries on. So now it's just you guys down there. With that, Hett and Fiayla return. And Thrimmon's not there by the time you get there, but the rest of the group's sort of sitting around the table, talking, drinking.
Hett keeps his eyes to the ground, sort of glances up at them, but goes to the bar. Is Frode on? No, who's the
Thrimmon is not there. He is gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. He's gone to bed. He is drunk and he's gone to pass out.
Hett leans over the bar. Is there a cash box?
Make a perception check.
Just a 10.
10. You're not sure. There's plenty of like little boxes and trays under there, but you got no idea what a cash box looks like. So, sort of just guessing at this point.
Hett puts the gold back in his purse at the moment and figures he'll get him another time. I guess Hett sort of leads Fiayla over to the group and tries to sort of take a seat without looking too obvious, but it's very awkward and
Bash turns to the group and turns to you, Hett, and says, Mr. Hett, you have my word as a warrior that if you need me to help you smash that the master and the vampire's face in, you got my axe. Always.
And you have my phone.
And burps loudly.
And Nari pipes in, and you have my bow.
I've heard this somewhere before.
And you have my... I don't have anything.
We have your beer. We have your beer.
Oops, beaver.
Hett appreciates everyone's whatever, but at the end of the day, you must have your own reasons to do this.
Well, I have got a good reason, Mr. Hett. You guys are my friends, and I help my friends, and I like to smash faces.
No offense, Bash. I mean, sure, stick around, bash some faces, but Hett is not fond of you.
Gee, roll deception or perception. Deception or persuasion. I'm kind of not sure what trying to get here. So whatever roll you think is appropriate, make it. I'm assuming it's deception.
Hett was just being honest.
Oh, Hett doesn't like him very much. Okay.
Hett's not fond of Bash.
So he was being completely honest.
Correct.
Okay. So let's see whether Bash takes it what it is. Yeah. Bash just sort of looks at you and goes, you may not like me very much, but I still like smashing faces and I like you.
Yes, the point I was trying to make was it's nice. It's a nice gesture. Thank you. Nonetheless, I've made a mess upstairs and I don't see the barkeep anywhere to pay him his money. So next time you guys see him, let him know I have some money for him. I kind of feel like I owe you all an apology again, so sorry, but I think I need to have a sleep. I'm tapped out here.
You can do that in the cart. We're leaving. We're going to go get on the road and start being a little bit more proactive on killing stuff. Oh, and don't worry about leaving the barkeep any money. I've already looked after it.
Oh, thank you. I agree. Let's hit the cart. Let's destroy some evil. Let's yes, that makes me feel much better. Once I rest, I will be happy to destroy some evil.
I'm gonna jump in at this point and look around the group and say, so do you mind if I carry on with you?
And who are you again?
Are you still going to report to the Enclave?
Don't think so.
You don't.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know, do I?
You don't have to anymore.
I don't have to.
You can, but you don't have to. You're not bound to anymore.
I'm not bound to. I have no soldier's contract anymore, so I don't have to.
Anyone got any parchment?
No, maybe Hett does.
Hett, do you have any parchment?
Yes, Hett has parchment, has paper.
Do you have something to write with?
Of course, Hett has something to write with.
Then get it out. Start writing.
Okay,
I'll tell you what to write.
Hett gets out his fancy pen and his nice paper.
So what's the guild's name again?
Which guild?
Of the Black Lion.
You got the Black Lion. You got the Black
Black Lions Guild hereby accepts. What's your name again?
Bob and Nari.
Bob and Ari. There you go.
Yep.
In the Black Lions Guild.
Okay, scratching this down, getting this down. Inari, how do you spell Inari? Because that's kind of a strange word for me.
I
N
A R I E.
Okay, I've got you didn't have to go so slow, but thank you.
Inari, give us your hand.
I tentatively hold out my hand.
Get my knife. This won't hurt a bit. Just kidding.
I look her in the eye. I look Allie straight in the eye and I'm like, hit me.
Yes, you do. But you can't do that where you are. Particular process for that, Yanti. You guys know the process and you know you can't do it until you get back to Vallon to do it.
Hey, we've got the letter. We are what?
You are interim guild leaders, yes.
So yeah. Here you go. You're now part of the guild. All good.
Thanks. And I smile.
Guys, what about this talisman from the Enclave? They said they could see everything about us from this talisman. Should I? I don't like being on a leash.
No, you need to keep hold of that.
Yeah, throw it in the fire. You
put
saw
it in the
those
bag.
envoys.
Yeah, put it in a bag and then throw it in the fire.
You saw those envoy. They were willing to chain us and jail us with the knowledge that my family and my village had all been killed. They led us to believe, I'd say throw it away if they're anything like that.
Any wild dogs out or
Well,
stray dogs anywhere?
you can't see anything outside because you're inside. You'd have to go look.
Any wild goblins around?
Oh, wait. And Hett lifts his arm up and says, Killick! And the little spider appears.
Does?
Where do we want to take it? I can send Killick to take the amulets to get rid of it.
Nara, you also have one, by the way.
Get rid of
Say
them.
that.
How far can Collect get away from you before he kind of just, I don't know, does nothing?
I'm pretty sure he can go as far as I tell him. I'll have to check that. I have to
Yeah,
ask him.
I'm pretty sure he can go as far as you send him, but you just will have no communication with him once he gets beyond, I think, 100 feet.
The Enclave will protect whoever has it, right? Because,
Yeah.
you know, we've got a drunk barkeep asleep in the bar.
Yeah, that works.
Ooh, yeah. Give one to the barkeep and give one to the halfling that's been helping us, and yeah, we'll go.
Do I probably need to keep hold of mine? Even though I'm not a soldier anymore, would I still part of the
Well,
Enclave?
you know that without it, you won't be able to send it. You won't be able to have that sending spell. It's all tied into it.
Oh, I better keep hold of mine then.
It's up to you, but you have that knowledge that you will not be able to send it. I mean, the message that you get is once per day, and it's only to the Enclave. So it's up to you whether you want to continue to send messages to them or not.
Well,
If you don't want to, then you get rid of it. It's like I said, the choice is yours.
Do we need to send messages to them, guys?
No.
Depends if you want their help or not.
Do we?
No.
Are you sure?
Well,
It's up to you and
if
I.
if we do need to send them a message, we know where they are. They're going to be in this town. So all we've got to do is just come back here and borrow the necklace again so that we can talk to them.
I'm gonna look at Allie and say, "This sounds like a rogue's job, right?"
We could hide them somewhere in the town that only we know. I'm feeling a little bit, footloose and fancy free and a bit lost, so stuff it, let's do it.
Well, put it this way, for the first time in your life, because you were born into this, your parents were a part of the Enclave, your parents' parents were a part of the Enclave. Your family's been in the Enclave for generations.
I am 275 years old and I've never been free.
Exactly. So you've been in the Enclave for over 200 years. I mean, you were part of the Enclave initially, but not as a soldier. So you've been a soldier for the Enclave for 200 years, bound by contract, bound by duty. Now, for the first time, you no longer have that contract, or no longer are duty bound to them. So you've been told your decisions are your own.
It's a bit hard after 200 odd years.
What is? That's the decision you have to make. You believe a lot of their ideals. You still believe in keeping and maintaining balance, and this is why the Enclave is so kind of seen as being good and evil. That they're really kind of in the middle and neutral, so therefore come across as quite harsh sometimes because they believe about ultimate balance.
Well, I'm just gonna say, hey, I feel like a kid that's had sugar for the first time, so let's do that.
With that amulet, they can see pretty much anything that goes on, yeah?
That's what essentially what Inari tells you is that's what they use to scry on you. So they can use it to scry, use a scrying spell to see what's going on at any given time.
As long as it's out in the open and not covered or something.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, so
it's a focal point.
In a bag of holding, then it would still work.
I would say probably not, actually, because the bag of holdings are almost like a demi-plane, a pocket dimension,
Exactly.
so all they would see would be the pocket dimension.
Chuck
So
them in the
that-
bag of holding.
That would definitely work.
That works.
So tell the group.
So anyway, guys, we'll may as well hang on to this one, but instead of it being in this plane, we can put it in a different plane for a little bit, if you guys agree with that.
As long as they're not tracking us, I don't care.
Well, the first hint of them tracking us with it, we ditch it.
Give it to a dusk bat and it can take it off into the nether.
Good
Yeah,
call.
We just drop it out of the bag and just walk away. They'll see our last thing they see will, our backs going away from them. Fuck them.
Sounds good. All right, I take the amulet and put it in the bag.
Cool. By this point, Sadiq, Hett, I need Sadiq to make another con save at disadvantage, and Hett, I need you to make a wisdom save at disadvantage.
17 on the con.
Man, you're a fucking monster when it comes to alcohol, dude. you've dropped enough booze to sink a battleship, but you're tired. You need sleep, but you're still holding it together.
At
And
disadvantage. Eagle.
Disadvantage, yes.
I rolled a 15 and a 17, so it's good. So 56, 18 for my lowest.
18. You're in the same boat. You're absolutely drained, physically and mentally, but you're holding it together at this point.
Hett wants to say one last thing, group, before. What is the time? Sorry, DM.
It's probably not late. It's probably by this stage, by the time all the events have sort of taken place, the events of the vision happen in real time. So you're probably looking at about 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night.
Are there many people in the inn, in the bar?
No one in the inn, just you guys.
Sweet. Hett says, good. Listen, guys. Hett is feeling pretty drained, but one last thing. Hett is a little disappointed that maybe the group keeps more secrets than what we should. Things maybe could have gone a little better had we been over this, and Hett looks directly at Fiayla in the eyes, trying not to be angry. And then he looks back and he says, but all cards on the table, and Killick is obviously out because he called Killick out
Yep.
before.
No
The little
worries.
spider is sitting in his lap. And he says, Killick is not actually a spider, and I'm going to be open and honest. He can do much more than I have let on. Killick, please show yourself. And the little spider transforms into a slightly larger than an owl-sized fey being, totally white, with wings and a tail and large white horns. When I say it's still only the size of an owl, and he sort of jumps out of my lap and flaps his wings. He would look to most of you like a demon, but he is a fey being. Anyway, and I say, Killick, say hello to the Lions of Elond. And Killick says, hello, Lions.
Oh my god.
Bash just sort of looks over and alright, little thing, little confused, but
Hello, big thing.
Would I have seen one of these before?
nope, none of you have seen well, actually, roll a history check, Inari, and I would say probably Sadiq as well, if you and Fiayla, about the only ones probably in the group that may have come across a fey being. Or-
11.
No,
Probably
you've
not.
never seen one. You've heard of obviously familiars from and things like that, but you've never seen.
17.
Fiayla, you have seen fey creatures because Vigilia, the white stag, is a fey creature. So probably should have figured that one before.
25, and at the same
And
time,
you have
what is my amulet doing?
nothing, because it's not evil or undead. It's just a fae.
Then I'm gonna look at Hett and I'm gonna go, you do have a lot of interesting things about you, don't you, Hett?
Ah, yes, and Hett thought it was time to let you know, because everything you know is advantage to our group. So if we need to do something with a creature like Kellic, as he can be a spider, I can make him a rat, a raven. That's roughly about it. And his form you see now. If we need any of these forms to do anything for us, he is there, and he is under my total control, as he is what we call a familiar. And I can put him back into the void where he came from and bring him back whenever we need him.
Do you show them and return them to the pocket dimension and back again?
Yes, Hett sort of just waves his hand in a motion, and Kellic sort of just disappears from sight. He gives it a few seconds and waves his hand again, and Kellic, in the imp form, returns back. Any questions?
No, I got no questions, but does this Fey guy know anything about beholders?
Unfortunately, I don't believe so. You pull them from a pocket dimension, whatever's in their dimension, they would know. Kellic, do you know anything about beholders? No, sir, I don't believe I do.
I am speechless, still looking at the imp. Yeah.
What's everyone's passives? Has anyone got a passive perception higher than 17? Well, higher than 16, sorry.
I have 18.
Passive perception of 18. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Mine's only 15.
So Fiayla, you're probably the only one that noticed with you guys, with now that Hett sort of was doing all the stuff with the imp. After Bash sort of said hi, sort of looking around, Bash is not at the table anymore. No, he's not in the room. You're the only one that's probably noticed. I don't think anyone else has a high enough passive to realise that he's got up and walked away.
But I didn't see where he walked
No.
to. I just noticed he's not there.
You just notice he's no longer at the table.
I'm going to keep that to myself. Now, actually, I'm going to just say, has anyone seen Bash?
Yeah, he's just sitting right here. Oh, no, he's gone. Sorry.
Huh. Was he tired or anything? Did anybody?
It's been a rough day on him. Maybe he's gone to work out some things.
Roughly what time is it?
I say again, probably this sort of form of conversation probably took about 30 minutes or so. So you're looking nearly 10 o'clock at night. It's getting pretty late.
I'm going to bed.
Hett agrees. Hett's going to. Oh. Actually, Hett's not. Hett might sleep here in this chair, actually. Hett does not have a bed.
Pretty sure there's probably a room upstairs if you need it. I don't need that much sleep. You can have mine.
Oh, thank you, Inari. That is much appreciated. I promise I won't wreck your room.
Hett, if you need a place to stay, I, I mean, it's been a pretty rough day. You could come. Maybe we could go over some Elvish together.
Hit. Hit sort of glances around the group. Yes, Hit might like that. Thank you.
So with
I'm gonna
that,
go to bed.
those that wish to retire may do so. Alessandra heads off to his Shim's room.
Yep. Okay.
Inari is pretty much the same. She heads off to her room. Sadiq, are you heading off to sleep also?
I'm gonna have a quick look around to see if I can see where Bash went, and then hit
Okay.
if I can't see him straight away.
Make an invest. Are you going to go check his room?
Yeah.
Okay. So you head upstairs and sort of check Bash's room, which was right next to your own, and you sort of knock on the door, and you get no. After a couple of minutes, you get no answer. So you sort of push the door open, and he's not in his room. The window is open.
Does it look like that he's jumped out the window or struggled or anything?
There's no sign of any struggle in the room, but none of his belongings are in there. Like his what would normally be like his pack and things like that. Everything that was his is nothing in the room. It looks like he's gone. Roll a quick perception check for me while you're looking around the room.
Yay, 2.
2. You look around the room and nothing seems out of place or anything like that. But even with that kind of roll, you do notice there is a piece of paper under the ink pot on the desk with some writing on it. It's not hidden or anything like that, but it's just sort of sitting there.
Alright, go up and read it.
As you read through this note, it's just a very simple note, written in common, and below it is a small sketch, and it says, to whoever finds this note, below is a small map leading to the true entrance of the tomb. I need to go back to Aslan and complete my duties there. Good luck to you all. Signed, Bash. And on the bottom is actually a really relatively good drawing of it's like a hilltop with a flat top, like a hill, sort of a hill with a flat top, and on the side of it there is a sketch of 3 different entrances that are and it's got little arrows pointing at this one's sort of covered in brambles, and this one says covered in sort of thorns and vines, and the center one is she's partially caved in, and below that says true entrance.
Did he have one of the rings of sending?
No, he didn't.
I'm gonna touch my one and just say, Bash has left, but he left us a really good drawing of the true entrance.
So all you guys that have earrings on will hear what Sadiq has said and can reply if you wish.
That makes me really sad.
Was it a crowd?
Yeah, Bash was cool.
But duties are duties, I suppose.
You weren't told that, but. So with that, you retire to your own room. And we now switch to the love nest. No, kidding. So
Wait, what?
Hett and Fiayla, Fiayla, you help Hett up the stairs. By this stage, I think the fatigue is starting to set in a little bit. So he's definitely shoulders hunched and feeling a little bit lethargic after expelling so much energy, especially with releasing so many of his spell slots in one hit. It's very taxing just to cast that much magic all at once. So it's starting to take its toll. The adrenaline's starting to subside, and Hett, you're starting to feel rather tired at this point.
Are we at the room yet? Are we?
Yeah,
doorway?
I'd say you're at the room by now.
I'm sorry, Fiayla. I'm feeling extremely tired. I hate to have to put my weight on you.
That's okay. I'm gonna help him towards the bed and just kind of slump him on there.
Hett sits up on the bed, not laying down yet, and he says, Fiayla, I really do appreciate the way you calm me down, the way you make me feel better when I'm not seeing straight. I hope it is not too much effort on you.
No, it's all right. I'm sorry I have to keep things from you.
Hett puts his hand on Fiayla's face and he says, for a creature that is not dragonborn, you certainly are nice to me.
Thanks.
Then Hett, with one hand, removes the earring of sending from one ear and throws it onto the floor, and then he removes her earring of sending and says, you won't be needing this. And he throws that onto the floor as well. and then with his dragon breath, he blasts the door close.
And fade to black.
Casts kind of silence.
And that is where we'll call tonight's session. Right, guys. That is it for tonight. Wow, is all I can say. That turn of events with Neymaris, I did not expect. That is not something I wrote, just so the chat's aware.
Sorry.
The players, the guilty here are Sadiq, Fiayla, and Neymaris, aka Nutty, Yanti, and Pekka, are responsible for that part of the story. I had nothing to do with it. But it was awesome.
You know,
Hey,
nothing.
I've got the direct message from you saying otherwise.
I didn't tell you to kill her.
Joking, come on.
No, that was also like I enjoyed the fact that it through me. I mean, I was even sitting there going, wait, what the fuck? And it made me have to come up with a whole new interaction with the envoy and with everything else. So I enjoyed that. That was amazing.
To XP.
No, you don't get no XP for that. Fucking killing one of your own team minus 50,000 XP. Fuck you all.
So we're now back at level 2.
Yes, you all reduced by 4 levels. No. What do you reckon, chat? Who should we make roll for XP tonight? Nutty rolled it last time and she rolled a dismal roll, so she's not at a roll this week. So because we had no combat this week, let's see the chat. Let's get some names in chat. Who do you reckon should roll for XP? Hett, Sadiq, Fiayla, or Alessandros?
Hett's doing enough rolling at the moment.
So we've got 2 for Sadiq, We've got a Yarntu, we've got 2 for Hett. Ali's dice suck. Sadiq. So we've got 3 for Sadiq. So it looks like it's a Sadiq. So, Pekka, would you like to roll a d20 for me?
10.
10. In that case, then we'll make it 2,500 XP.
No, we need at least like.
No, you don't. 2,500 XP for the roleplay and the twist, and I'm going to give everyone that doesn't have DM's inspiration right now, reapply it if you've used it. If you haven't used it, you've still got it.
With advantage.
Because that was well done, ladies and gentlemen. So to the players, thank you very much once again for another amazing show. I was kind of expecting you guys to not do a hell of a lot and then go to the tomb straight away. So to have another full game of roleplay is awesome. I love that kind of stuff. I love the roleplay part of the game as much as the combat. So Tomb of Horrors next week, guys. Hopefully, depending on what these guys come up with next. So
Oh, he could spend days in the bedroom.
you could, you never know.
Chuck them on the back of the car. We need to be gone.
So with that, we would like to just make some brief shout outs here. Firstly, DV Siege with a follow tonight, thank you very much. We have Blue Moon Wilds dropping a raid as well. Then we have Wisdom Saves dropping in for a raid. Thank you so much for Wisdom Saves for the raid and for your community coming to hang out with us. We really do appreciate it. We got the Tigiddy. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. Probably pronounced it wrong, but made a follow as well. Burrow Reeds with a follow as well, or Burrows Red, sorry, with a follow. And then that's pretty much it. So, but thank you for the follows, thank you for the raids. Support is awesome. We're going to raid again tonight, and we'll probably raid our usual raiders. I noticed the Lost Chapters was hanging out with us as well earlier. So, I'm assuming they are streaming. Wake up to find the Hett dead. Fiayla's got a taste for killing.
She chokes him just a little
Send
bit too
Kalik
hard.
outside instead of the sock.
Sadiq told me to.
Oh, that's awesome. So Lost Chapters is streaming. They have a split party at the moment, guys. So if you haven't been following their Curse of Strahd campaign, Zrix and Adok have separated themselves from Fondurant, Zyther, and Abraxas, believing them to be racist and evil. So they've gone their own way. So they're running a campaign, sort of each, well, looks for it doing one night with Zrix and Adok, then the next one they do with the other group. So they're sort of splitting the party, which is kind of cool. Interesting way of handling it. So we're going to raid them again this week, as we normally do. It's definitely a cool way to do it. I mean, if you've got a cast that's willing to sort of sit out and just be in the chat for one session, alternate sessions, which is kind of interesting. So we should type up the raid command here. And with that, we're going to say goodbye to the chat, and we will see you here on Tuesday night, guys. The new adding a game stream in every Tuesday night. Again, it'll be either, at the moment, probably a lot of World of Warcraft, because that's pretty much all I'm really playing right now. Otherwise, we'll do things like Call of Duty and some other bits and pieces, just games I'm interested in at the time. I'm not going to have any set game schedule or anything. It'll be whatever I feel like on the night. It'll start usual time, 7:30 New Zealand Standard Time. Come and hang out. If we are playing WoW and you want to come and join us, we're on the Remulus server, and we are pretty much running a guild. We got invited to a guild. I'm now an officer in that guild, and we're practically the ones running it. So come and hang out with us, join the guild, have some fun. But until then, we'll see you next time. Stay safe, and don't kill your friends.
Oh, I had so many plans